Now, tonight we have a special guest in Matt Kennedy. He's a current midfielder with the Carlton Footy Club. He's been injured and he's on the sidelines at the moment. And he's going to be taking part in a Q&A with a Carlton tragic in Fr Michael Gallacher, the parish priest of St Roch's, Glen. Matt, incidentally, was born in the Riverina district of New South Wales in 1997. He started his AFL career with GWS in 2016 before moving to the Blues in 2018. As we say, he's out at the moment, but he'll tell us more about that because I hope he can be back in time to play finals. So for a fireside chat, would you please make welcome Matt Kennedy and Fr Michael Gallacher. Go over the seats. Yeah, over there.
We've got to watch a video first.
Oh, okay. Go.
So we might watch that from here. Yeah, I'll watch. Is that okay? Yeah, watch it.
Will you introduce that?
Yeah. So it is my privilege to be interviewing Matt tonight. But just before we move to the interview seats, Matt's asked that we watch a highlights video of him before we begin. No, it's not really his request. So we're just going to stand on the side and watch that first. So we'll watch a few highlights.
The ball really hard to find targets, but 2 free kicks has allowed Carlton to transition.
Wide ball, and Martin got some space. And Walsh backwards to go forward to Kennedy. Silvani with Newman, and it's Kennedy. And he bounces off like a rubber ball, and he's off. Curno's over the back. Got it. He got it to Doherty. Kennedy. Laird ran to a brick wall in Kennedy. And ran in, caught by Haitley, got a handball. Kennedy got it from Chera, bangs it wide. Spear to the pocket. Kennedy. And there's some belief in his eyes. Looks pretty good off the boot. That is a spear!
Open. Look at that for a strike.
Week at home to the tune of 59 points. Umpire said no. Kennedy comes up with it to Curnow. Got it. Chera. Might be some more action coming. Some Walsh. Like a pinball through there. Just bounced off them. Dance step was delightful. Kennedy. Crowd loved it. Curnow. He's got 3 to beat here, Charlie. Cockrell spears it. Finds a target straight away. Newman. Down the spine, Kennedy, Cripps, Doherty, Kennedy. Back into play, Hinge, handball smothered by Kennedy, ball.
On the couch.
Hey, yeah, right, good. All right. So, privileged to be, excuse the phone. The youth of my parish on my table tell me this is how you're supposed to prepare for a talk these days. You don't use paper, apparently, for notes. You use the phone. Can I firstly just get a bit of noise from my fellow Carlton tragics here, just to see where we are? Good. That's not too bad. So, many of you will remember 1993, as I do. Matt doesn't. He wasn't born. Before the grand final, some person in the Carlton coaching staff accidentally faxed our midfield structures to a mechanic instead of to someone else at the club. Mechanic happened to be an Essendon supporter. Took them to the club. We got torn apart in the grand final because they already knew our structures. So, we're playing a final in a week or so. I will be asking no questions, and nor should you, about any of our plans for the final, any selection, who's out there. Don't you dare ask. We cannot afford another repeat of 1993. So we'll be moving pretty quickly away from football. The key reason Matt is here, of course, is because he's a very good example to many of us as a practicing Catholic in the AFL. It's a good thing for us to be aware of where our good Catholics are in society. We've also got a GWS VFL player here tonight, just as well, Andrew Matheson. But we won't interview you because you beat us last week, so we'll just let that go. So, Matt, could you tell us a little bit about how you came to have your faith initially?
Yep. So I was quite fortunate. just born into a Catholic family. Both my parents were practicing Catholics, so for me it was quite easy. When I was younger, that's for sure. Also, I have an uncle who's now a bishop in Newcastle now, Bishop Michael Kennedy. So for me, growing up when I was younger, faith was easy. Probably wasn't until I sort of started to hit high school, probably in the later years, and then moving into football, where I was probably asked a few questions in my faith in whether I was going to keep following or not. I'm quite lucky. I had pretty good advice from my father during those years, who sort of said to me, you'll struggle at times with your faith, but as long as you keep going to Mass and receiving communion, you'll never fall too far away from your faith. So I'm lucky I have him as that role model. But yeah, early days, as I said, it was quite easy. And then, yeah, definitely had a period there where I struggled.
Yeah, so what was it like as an 18-year-old coming into the system from a faithful family like that into an environment that was not so much?
Yeah, look, it was definitely difficult, and I think with the thing with all of us, we just want to fit in, whether it's your work environment or family, you know. We all have that fear of wanting to fit in. So for me, I found it quite challenging, because obviously no one else practice, and you start to ask questions of yourself. Is it normal not to practice? Am I weird for having belief and having faith? So I think you are sort of who you hang around in a way, and I suppose not hanging around other good Catholics and other good people, not that they're bad people, but people that definitely don't practice the faith, it was harder. And I probably ventured away just from that fear of wanting to fit in, rather than follow probably the advice from my family and following God's will. I probably went down that more of a selfish pathway of just wanting to fit in and not be embarrassed, I guess, for being a believer and having my faith.
Thanks, Matt. Something I'm sure a lot of the younger people here certainly can relate to at the minute. That was when you were starting the AFL system at GWS. You then got traded to the Mighty Blues. First few years were a bit of a struggle. Do you want to tell us why they were a struggle?
Yeah, it was quite difficult for a number of reasons. I think as a footy club, we were definitely struggling. Personally, in my life, I was probably struggling because I lacked probably that purpose in my life. I was struggling with my faith, as I mentioned. And I didn't really have any drive, because I suppose deep down I knew I wasn't living a good, faithful life, and my morals were probably slipping away from me, and I just constantly lived with that guilt in the back of my head, probably knowing I wasn't living a life I should. So it was hard to be motivated to train. I was probably just getting through and really very much in a survival mode for those first few years at Carlton. So I think that was very difficult. And it probably wasn't until I found purpose in my life again, where I started to then naturally feel a bit better about myself and start working a bit harder, where I was able to sort of climb myself out of that bit of a hole or rut I was in, I guess. But yeah, I think where I really struggled was lacking that purpose in my life and that real drive and that work ethic.
So how did that turn around, and what is your purpose?
Yeah, well, it's probably the obvious one. I lost my faith, and my purpose is now definitely my faith and family. I sort of write a thing on my wrist, but before I play 3 Fs, and that's my purpose, and that's faith, family, and footy's third. And for me, that just aligns up everything well for me. If footy's not going well, then it's not the end of the world, as long as my faith is good and my relationship with God is good. Then I know I'm happy and in a good mental state. And then family, it's the most important thing for me as well. So I'm quite lucky at the minute. I met a family down in Melbourne, which definitely helped change that. A few of you probably have heard of the Canavan family. So yeah, round of applause. So I met them through a very, very challenging period of their time in their lives, where I'm sure a lot of them were probably struggling as well. And I'm fortunate enough to have met my fiancée, my beautiful fiancée Marianne, during that period, which helped me go back and keep seeing the family. So I think from there I found that purpose that helped me not really worry about footy. And once I was in that mindset that footy was just something I do, it's not who I am, things sort of just started to click for me, and I just really enjoyed footy more because there was a stage there where I was hating training, didn't want to be there, I wasn't working hard, so I just wanted to get away from the joint. But once I've found that purpose, I really enjoyed the little things and the hard work and the grind of AFL, because it is a pretty big commitment, and I've definitely learned there's a lot of ups and downs in footy with selection, form, how the team's going as well, injury. So if you just rely on footy, you're in for a tough run. So I feel like faith just balances my life out.
And what do you do practically that helps you to keep close to God and to keep faith as a priority?
Well, I think for me, what definitely helped me remain faithful and keep my faith was Mass and receiving communion, and then probably the next biggest thing, or if not the biggest thing, was confession for me. As I mentioned, during those times where I was feeling pretty poor and average about myself, I found that the graces I got from confession were huge. There was probably a stage there, even though when I was going to confession, I still felt like I was a bad person and almost felt like a fraud, almost like. But I had a really good relationship with the priest back home, Father Jared, and he basically told me that God's forgiven you, but you're not forgiving yourself. So I think that was important for me to hear, because once I was able to also forgive myself, and obviously God's all forgiving, so it just allowed me to get back in that mind frame of being able to get on with the daily struggles of life and footy and whatever life throws at you.
Thank you very much. So we are here raising money for our future priests for their education. Would you like to firstly comment on, you have a little bit there as well, but any further thoughts on what priests have meant to you in your life to this point?
Oh, I suppose, as I mentioned, I'm very grateful. Obviously, I've been through those very challenging times, and without priests giving us communion and confession, and we don't get these blessings and these great graces. So first of all, I probably want to thank everyone that's joined, and all the priests in the room and the seminarians. I really quite admire what you guys have to sacrifice, and unlike myself, I play footy. I get the pats on the back and the roars from the crowd and the cheers. But I think it's such a sacrificial role. You do so much hard work and you have to sacrifice so much. Thank you for all that you do for us, and I'm very grateful. So, thank you.
You've sort of stolen my last question, but is there anything you'd like to say to the seminarians or perhaps any other young men here who might be thinking about the priesthood tonight? Anything you'd like to say to them?
Look, I think we're in desperate need of priests and good young priests. So I'm sure I had a brother that actually joined, and he struggled a fair bit. It was quite a lot, as I mentioned before. That you have to sacrifice so much, and family was a big part of his life, and he struggled a bit. So he left a couple of years ago. He might join, we don't know, but I'm sure I think I've got one of the greatest jobs in the world, and I struggle, so I couldn't imagine how hard it would be to push through and become a priest. 7 years of study, all the hours and prayers you guys have to do. I think it's just tremendous. So I encourage you to stick strong through the good times and the bads, and I wish you all the best, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt. It's not easy to share your faith at any stage, especially not in front of 450 people. So if we could just thank Matt for his generosity tonight in sharing his faith with us.
Thank you.
And now, Brian, I've got further instructions, sorry.
No, thank you, Father Gallacher and Matt. It's been fantastic. What a great insight tonight. And we've got something very special that we're going to auction. Matt, tell us more about the jumper.
Yep, so this is, John's stitched me up. I had to get a jumper for tonight. So this is just recently signed by the 2023 playing list from the footy club. So is one of last year's jumpers, but yeah, everyone signed it from this year.
Okay, Matt,
so.
we might get you to hold it up. And talking about John Canavan is one of the great auctioneers we have here in Melbourne, and this is his future father-in-law. Go on, John.
Three cheers for Matt. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. All righty. Now tell them, Matt, you've been signed up for the next 2 years for the Richmond Football Club. Is that right? It's great to be back here. I've been several times entertaining this wonderful crowd, and to entertain the priests is something very special with me, as Matt said, because you do such an amazing job. And I particularly like to thank Father Brendan Lane, who's had a huge influence in my life. 50 years as a priest. You've been a great influence in Matt's life as well. So congratulations. Big hand for Father Brendan Lane. Thank you. Now, do you like the jacket, ladies? Catholics like silver, they like gold. I've got the best. What do you reckon? This is Armani. You've heard of the Armani label? Salvation Armani. Very, very nice indeed. So I've got to be pretty quick. I've got another gig to go to in February next year. Now, where is the new rector of the seminary? Father Cameron. Well, welcome. I knew you were going to go well. They even named a diocese after you up in Canberra, the Forbes diocese. So very good. Now, it's a busy time you're going to have, so I want you to take a break after this. Go somewhere quiet where no one will bother you. Go to the North Melbourne forward line. You'll be fine there. No problems at all. All righty. So there it is. Stand up, Matty. Stand up. Now, all signed by the Carlton boys. Now, there's a lot of Carlton supporters, a lot of Collingwood supporters also disguised as human beings here tonight, but the Carlton supporters, we're trying to get them to bid first. So what can I see, ladies and gentlemen, for this wonderful... I'll take these glasses. A bit hard to see with these. Oh, yes. Sorry? $200 I've got there, $200. Just 1 second, hold that with your father, put those on. All right. Start with what was that bid there? $200 I got there, $250 to the back now, $250 back, $3 now, got $3 back, $350 now, F4 to the back now, F1 now, F1 hold it up there, Matty. Matty will sign it, we'll go, we can take a photo with $500 now, at 5 bid 5, at 5 bid 5, at 5 bid 5, at 5 bid 5, at 550 now, like now, at 550 left there, at 650 like now, at $600 now, at 650 to the back, at 650, at $700 table there, at $700 bid now, all done, at finish at $700, got to be worth more than, at 750 I have, at 8, at 9, at 9, oh, Helen Lamana, the great Helen Lamana, $900 a Carlton supporter, at $900 now, at $900, $1,000 I've got there, right in the centre, at 1, at 1 I've got now, at $1,000 I've got now, at 1,100, at 1,100, 12 back, are you back in, Helen? At $1,200 I've got now, it's $1,200 against you, number 12, at $1,200 behind you now, at $1,200, are you done? At finish at 12, 13, at 14, at 1,400, 15, 16, $1,600 I have, oh, 1,600 smackaroonies, mate, here we go, that's more you get than a kick, at $1,600, Helen Martin's bid, table number 25, at $1,600, all for the seminarians, all for the priests, you wouldn't get that sort of collection in Dandenong, would you, Father? At $1,600 now. At $1,600, Dandenong, the only area in Melbourne, if you pay your rent on time, the coppers knock on the door and say, hey, where'd you get the money from? At $1,600, a Helen Marner's bid there at 16. At 16 I've got now, 170 like now. At $1,600, at 17 back in. At 700, all for the 7, 18. At 18 now, at 9 if you like now. It's only $100 now, think about it. At $1,900 I've got there at the back there. $1,900, your bid, Helen. $2,000. $2,000 I've got. No, I haven't got. $1,900, Helen's bid there at $2,000. No more bidding, no more advances. When the gavel hits Father's head, it will be sold at $1,900. $1,900, going, and... sold, table number 25, Helen Lamana. So Matt's going to go and present that to Helen. Helen, of course, is the wife of the late Pat Lamana, who contributed so much here to the Archbishop's dinner, and we sadly miss him, and may he rest in peace, Helen. And thank you for all you've done for the priests and seminarians. Now, if you could bring the other image up, John Paul. Now, we've got a lot of things there to raffle. You got Geelong things, you've got Carlton, you've got pictures, you've got all this. But this is the only religious print that's available for sale tonight. Donated by myself at my Apostolate Divine Mercy Publications. Bring it up here on stage, if you would mind. And this is a picture of Our Lady, Mother of Mercy. Right, painted by a beautiful... This is my son, John Paul III. Here he is. So this is painted by a lovely Scottish artist called Tommy Canning from Scotland. He was out here just recently. He's done some magnificent work. He's very well known throughout the world. So Tommy Canning, there it is, Our Lady Mother of Mercy. So, Father Forbes, I had a vision last night, a dream, and I heard these words, Hail Mary. Don't you agree? This will look good in the seminary. So what can I see? How many people here love the Blessed Virgin Mary? Hands up. $5,000 got now. $5,000. All right now. Easy call. There it is, priest. Picture of the Blessed Mother. First Saturday tomorrow. You know the promise that the lady gave him the first Saturday. She'll save you. She's so powerful. Oh, you've got to be. What can I see to start me off? $1,000 I've got. $1,000 from the Archbishop. $1,000. Gee, that meeting with the Pope went well. $1,000 in the pocket. Thank you very much. At $1,000 from His Grace the Arch. At $1,000, who's brave enough to get against the Archbishop now? Here we go, take it on now. At $1,000, I'll take $100 rises now to see $1,100 off now. At $1,000 I've got. At $1,000, keep drinking. The drunker you get, the more money the Archdiocese gets. At $1,000, at $1,100 I'll be there on the right. At $1,100 it's the Anglican beating you out. At $1,100, 12 if you like now. At $1,100 bid there on the right. At 111. Where? Hands up, I can't see it properly. At $1,100 I've got. Where's the bid? Oh, $1,200, thank you, sir. At $1,200 I've got the back there. Your Grace, $1,300 if you like now. At $1,200 I'll bid there to the right. $1,200 against you over there. Make it $1,230 if you like now. At $1,200 at your table, put your hand up. What's your number there? At $1,300 you fell for it. Thank you. At $1,400. At $1,400 I'll bid now. At 1,400. At 1,400. At 1,400. At 1,400. And the rough and race in the 2023 Corpus Christi College Carlton at 1,400 got now. At $1,400 you're done. Finish it out. Are you out? No more bidding. No more advances. At $1,400 you're going. $1,400 for a lady. Go again. Sold. Thank you very much. $1,400. You take it. And that table number was table number 30, I think. It's over there. 13. All right, well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be finishing now. I would just personally like to say again, thank you to all the priests who've given their lives to Christ. I know in particular how much they've touched me in my life, the help which they give me with the work with Divine Mercy. But particularly 4 years ago, an unfortunate tragedy happened in our lives. There were so many priests came to help our family during a very difficult time. And one of those ones, of course, was Father Brendan and others. So thank you. It's great to be back again to tell you, dig deep, because we need these seminarians, we need great priests to go out there and do the best they can. Thank you so much. If you like me, my name is John Canavan. If you haven't, I'm Matthew Kennedy's father. Thank you.
Well done, John. I'd like to be there at the wedding for the father of the bride speech.
He's getting married. My daughter, Marianne. Where are you, Marianne? Stand up, Marianne. See my beautiful daughter, Marianne. Come on, stand up. She's getting married on November the 11th. I said, why did you choose that day? There you go. That's Marianne. Matthew said, I'm getting married on November the 11th, Remembrance Day, because I want you to remember how much this wedding is going to cost you. Thank you very much, Matt.